Many thanks, PK. Thank you, all of you, Anupriya, the committee, Sundar, all of you on the judging committee. Thanks for this. Thank you, Nitin, Jainbhai, Hemant, Mr. Kant, for all the lovely words you spoke about me. And thank you for all of you coming here. It really warms the cockle of my heart to see so many friends in the industry to take time out. 37 years back, when I started this journey in advertising, I had no hope and no clue that I'd be here. It was a remarkable journey. Started on the wrong foot. My boss, D.D. Saxena in UB, told me that he had joined Ulka, he was joining Ulka, and he told me the idea of joining Ulka at a 25% salary drop. And the logic he used, Hemant, was saying that, you're in sales all through, and if you want to fast track it to brand, you come through advertising and you're going to fast track it to brand, which is a con he pulled on me, but nevertheless. And he said the best way to do it is you get into account planning. We're starting a new thing called account planning in India. He didn't know, I didn't know what account planning was. So I joined Ulka. He was pardoned after 3 days after I joined, he took a transfer to Bangalore. So I left care of the mighty Balmundkar, who was a legend in himself, who knew everything about advertising except account planning. So when I joined, Balmundkar said to me, he says, young man, what are you doing here? I said, well, you hired me, you tell me. He said, what is account planning all about? And he said, I don't know, you tell me. So it's okay, we'll work it together. So his idea of account planning was selling, financial advertising clients those days. The financial advertising was a big thing. One day I'd go and sell financial advertising. Next day I'd sell sponsored programs. Many things I would do, So 2 months later I told Didi, what have you got me into? But nevertheless, luck smiled. 3 months into the job, one monsoon, it was a rainy day, and maybe to escape from the rain, Dr. Verghese Kurian, unannounced, walked into our office. That is the time at Nirmal. And that is the time when all the bosses in advertising went to London. They didn't work business log here. So there's no one in office. I was the only joker roaming around, young guy. This Anglo-Indian secretary didn't know who this guy was. He said, there's some guy waiting to meet. Why didn't you go and meet him? Thankfully, I knew Dr. Kurian was. My jaw hung when I saw him. Took him to the conference room. And Dr. Kurian obviously not very amused. He said, well, young man, where are your bosses? I don't want to tell them. He's in London. I said, they're out for meetings. It's okay. They're good people. Next time when they come in, you come to Amul. So we landed up at Amul. And I will take Sudhirji 2 minutes to tell the story, but it's an interesting story. So we landed at Amul, and then he said, we spent 2 days going through the federation and what, the old works. Imagine Bal going to a dairy at 5 in the morning to see what it was all about, but nevertheless, he did that. And then, he said, okay, we start small. Once we hire you, then you're going to be with us for life. But there's one product which I'm going to give you to work on, the milk powder, and I'm giving you the name Amulya. Amul actually was Amulya, so you start Amulya, come back with pack designs. So by then, I was a junior most, so 7 of us landed up top to down with 7 different pack designs, one for each one. We presented, put it in front of him. So now obviously they were so much in awe of Dr. Kurian that none of them, they just put it in front of him. So he turned around and said, fine, this is fine. Which one do you recommend? Now that question in those days in 1986, no one anticipated. Which one do you recommend? Now there was a 30-second pause, and that 30-second silence was so pregnant, it looked like 9 months. It was really bad. So the junior most member of the team, who had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Kurian twice, so I was most experienced in the lot, turned around, put my finger on one pack. And everyone gave me a dirty look. Dr. Kurian tapped his fingers and said, yes, done, and walked out. And then walked back again, and he said, next time when you come, I want only one recommendation, and you will make the recommendation, you will be accountable for the recommendation. So that pack still remains 37 years later. It's a green color pack of Amulya you find. And as Jainbhai was telling me, it's a 1,700 crore brand today. So, it's a marvelous story. Dr. Kurian taught me a lot. But more than anything else, he nurtured the art of client-agency relationship. Whatever we used to recommend, he would listen, he would agree to. I've never seen that relationship anywhere else. It still continues. And the great thing is the team which he built, successor after successor, has managed that. And compliments to Jainbhai for following the same tradition which is there. That's a great story. Then finally, I think Balmundkar decided there's something in this boys he should stay in the agency. So I was in the agency. 2 years later, he decided he must take a back seat, and he got a marketing biscuit called Anil Kapoor in. Now, we all knew Anil is a marketing biscuit, but none of us knew that he is aggressive. So, Mr. Kant, you'll understand. Not only is he aggressive, he's abrasive and a bit of a bully. Bulldog attitude. So in 5 days, we realized this is not going to work out for us. So 6, 7 of us, I think there were 5 Nitin included. We decided to quit. We said, this is not a cup of tea. So we quit. And they quit. I had not quit. I was planning to quit the next day. And then Anil being Anil, he understood that there's someone behind this. So he caught hold of me And he took me for lunch. He figured out that I was the author of this. You won't believe it was a 7-hour lunch. It started at 12:31 and ended at 7:38. That was Anil for you. And, at the end of it, I decided logic won't work. Just say yes to this guy. That started a wonderful relationship. We learned a lot from him. Anil was super confident. Those of you know his smile at this. He was super confident. He was aggressive, but he was very caring. He built a team. He would do whatever it takes to, support you. Built up aggression in us. We were disparate bunch of people, some of them in the room. Ambi, Nitin, Nagesh, Arvind, 5 of us, and we would sit on a round table and he would say, till you guys come to consensus, we are not leaving. And that consensus is a very tough word. When you talk to consensus, I learned it there. So, to the round table decision when we made 7 hours we would sit. 7 hours actually, 8 hours, 10 hours every day, agreeing to a decision. But it was very aligned. The organization was aligned. We all worked together for so long. And as Nitin said, he must be very thrilled watching from there where he was. So it's really a learning. It really changed my life. These 2 people changed my life. So I think we're lucky to have such mentors and leaders in our lives at such a young age. I must also tell you another story. Everyone talks of success. I do want to talk of a failure. So as Hemant mentioned, at a very early start of our life, we were lucky to work on ITC Foods. And when we were working on ITC Foods, Hemant came as the CMO. That's the first time I met him. And it was, he was a free hand. We would discuss amongst ourselves. And the people in the room who were the protagonists, Nitin, Harry, our creative director, and me, all in the room, all 3 of us in the room. And we came out with some whimsical ideas. The brand name was whimsical. You'll laugh if I tell you the brand name today. And the advertising was, funny, it was evolved. So evolved is a nice word which I'm using. It was dramatically different. And this is about 20 years back, if I'm not mistaken, Nitin, 20 years back. So obviously the product didn't do well. It had to be withdrawn very quickly. But I must say, Hemant absorbed the pressure. He didn't let the pressure come on to us. And that is very remarkable in a company like that for him to absorb. And that's why I requested him to come and speak. And, he absorbed the pressure. And the great thing is not only do we continue, the remit for the agency has gone up dramatically. We handle a lot of business there, which shows the maturity. I can see Harry laughing, and Kavita also knows what product I'm talking about, So it shows the maturity of Hemant and the company that they did what they did. 2004 is when I decided to make the transition full-time into media. I used to dabble with media. I started early, I remember selling sponsored programs. But I dabbled in, and I decided I must make a transition into media. Anil facilitated. When I made the transition, a lot of people said, it's not good for you, you've been sidelined, but nevertheless, I made the transition. And that is when Lodestar was created with a couple of my colleagues, 3 of them, Apurva, Arpita, and Nandini. Nandini, of course, worked for a long time. She's unfortunately not here, somewhere in Maharashtra on the border in the jungles, but she worked a long while. So 4 of us created this company. But the fillip we got actually was, that's the time the Tata AOR broke up. And the Tata AOR broke up, and Tata Motors, TCS, Tata Indicom, Lloyd is here, and Tata Corporate came to us. So virtually the sizable companies came to us. And the man who's responsible for in a way kickstarting the Lodestar journey has been Mr. Ravikant. I regard Mr. Ravikant as a mentor, and I say this publicly every time I meet him, I say this formally. And which is why, there's a reason why I selected the people to come and speak at this felicitation. So Mr. Ravikant, what I admire most is his ability to look at detail at one level and the macro at the other level. And that, I trust you or not, the detail he can go into. I remember those LML days when he taught me a lot about, positives and whatever the screen sizes, I just can't forget. And the big picture, the Nano launch, I remember doing all the picture work with him. So grateful to you, sir, for the mentorship which you provided. He's the one who got me on to the social cause which you spoke about. So far I've done well. I've not goofed up without referring to my notes. I've not gone wrong. So no story of Ulka and Media Brands would be complete without Zodiac, our oldest client in the company. The Nurali family has treated me as one. Be a part of the family, and even today, Salman treats me like that. And of course, there are many, many clients, but I do want to call out 2 other clients who've been more than 35 years. Nerolac, I think Anuj is here, and Mahindra, Rajesh Jurga. Both Anuj and Rajesh have been extremely close friends of ours. I have always believed, and even today I believe that we can only do well. There's only that much we can compete if we compete against each other. We can only do well if the industry grows well. And which is one of the reasons why I actively participate and give a lot of my time to the advertising industry. And there's so much which we've done. In spite of brickbats every morning on Bach, but I still at it. Get up in the morning and still survive. So I think that's because I genuinely believe the industry, we'll gain from the industry. It looks very easy now, but when I started, it was very difficult. And a couple of people held my hand. Bhaskar was not here, and he can't come into. He sent me a very warm message this morning. Bhaskar and Ramesh Narayan actually, in a way, held my hand and got me into this the industry that I could today confidently handle what I do. So finally, I do want to thank all my colleagues at work. It's a very, the company is, what it is. And I think I've called out the names from Vulcan, I've called out names from Roshna, but I want to call out the media brands names. A lot of them are here in the room again, be it Anamika, Amar, Manoj, Shantanu, Vaishali, all of them, Hema, the whole lot. I hope I've not missed out. Aditi, Savita who's here, so I hope I've not missed out anyone. But obviously, the one man who's special is Nitin Karkare. He started with me in 1986, and we are together, and hopefully we'll work together for a longer period of time. So, and as everyone has said, this would not have been possible without the family, the children, Ritika, Karan. When they were growing up, I was at work in those 8 or 9 hour meetings, and Karan was coming to my life later. But one person who's special, Thank you. Thank you for very much. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.